What's up, puppy crew? Protohype here, and I am happy to announce that I am back on YouTube. Today, we will be talking about the synthesis techniques that are going to help your sounds. Now, before I get into the video, I must ask that you please like and subscribe. Unfortunately, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but my old YouTube channel with 25,000 subscribers or something got hacked and deleted by some sort of Vietnamese Bitcoin mining podcast. If you can believe that. Anyways, do it for jelly. Let's get into the video. Right, let's get into it. So here's the sound that we're going to be making today, or something like it. You can see that this is a very straightforward sound using all Serum stuff, and then we have Ableton processing. So instead of just walking you guys through this patch, if you guys want to screen capture this or something, I'll show you guys the effects. But we're just gonna make one from scratch here. But if you listen to the sound, it's pretty cool. It's growly, and then it's actually got this really cool tail since we're on envelope mode. You could also play this up an octave and kind of write some evil stuff like that. Growls don't necessarily need to be in low octaves like that. All right. So, you know what? First, let me show you guys what this sounds like without any processing on it. So it still sounds like a growl. So, I mean, it's something to keep in mind is that, you know, you can get fairly far in Serum, but like most things, the post-processing is going to be what gets you there. All right. In it. All right, cool. So something you need to keep in mind that there are like basic tech foundations of growls that will make things sound growly and vocal being the key word, which will lead you in the direction of what sort of audio effects that you're going to use. One being the vocoder, another being the phaser, another being some sort of noise like erosion or white noise or a combination of the two, and then compression. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of my racks on here. This is a rack that I put on at the beginning of all of my stuff when I do sound design. It's just a glue compressor and an OTT with the high band turned off. You can see what it does is it just makes it louder, compresses it, and brings it to the front of the mix off the bat, which is something that's helpful for me. I like to make my sounds try to sound as good as they can from the beginning so the sound design process is enjoyable. So the next thing would be where I normally start is the movement of the sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop LFO1 onto the level and create some sort of longer moving shape here. And put this on envelope mode so it goes through once without triggering back. Right, so that's what we're going to get. We can even go up here at the end to really kind of have it end right. Okay, cool. So first things first, compressor, multi-band, gain. I like to turn the release up a little. Add a little distortion. Hyper, size all the way down, mix in the middle. That's basically a go-to for me. We might come back and dabble with the hyper later on, but probably not. So the first thing we need to do, and you can use any wavetables for these really, but for these, we're just going to go into the spectral wavetables and start with these monster ones. Once you kind of make this growl template, you can try out different wavetables, and you see that there's a lot of really good wavetables that work for growls. What we're looking to find here in the wavetable position is one cycle that's starting to sound growly. Cool, that's kind of already getting there. The next thing that is essential for me for growls is bend. Whether it be bend plus minus, bend plus, or bend minus, what this is doing is it's taking the center of the wavetable and stretching it outwards, which is, again, what's going to think about it in terms of a human voice. What's going to make that stretch and pull and feel very throaty. So you can also automate this. Normally I don't. I just kind of find a sweet spot, but that works pretty well. Cool. So the next thing we need as far as filter movement is going to be peaks. So what I like to do is do something like the high notch, which is probably my favorite filter. And bring this down here. Now you can see that it's kind of working, but since there are no peaks, no resonance, it's not sounding vocally. You see how instantly it starts to kind of growl. So I like to move this frequency knob, kind of bring it back. You can see that we're getting somewhere now. The next thing we want to do is add some white noise in. Cool. Let's move over. That's basically it for that. Let's add a phaser. The place that I normally start with phasers just by turning the knobs towards the left a bit. This white noise is loud. Let's put this white noise through the filter. Okay, cool. So that's not a bad start. We could actually probably add a little bit of reverb. I really don't love the serum reverb. We'll do that later on. Cool. So we are growling now. So let's start taking some of these processing stuff and I'll walk you through it. So you can see that instantly is smashing, mainly because of the vocoder. So let's turn these off and just have the vocoder on here. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on vocoder at some point because it's a very powerful tool. One thing that you need to remember when using vocoder is that at some point after the fact, you should have some sort of compression or multi-band dynamics because you're going to lose a lot of body using the vocoder. But this is what's going to get you that texture. The depth is what moves in between the original signal and the vocoded signal. So I tend to bring this somewhere around here. Now let's add erosion on the wide noise. And then here we have a multi-band dynamics preset that's going to really just bring it all together. What this is doing is just slamming the input in. I actually think this is a variant on something I got from a NASCO video a long time ago. If you haven't watched his tutorials and streams, check him out. He's amazing. So then we've got that. Now from here, it's all about the extra stuff. So let's do some EQing to clean this up. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Silly me. Is add the sub in. So once you add the sub in not on direct out, now you can always cut your sub out later, but what the sub is going to do is add just since it's running through all these effects. You see if you go too far on the drive, it loses its character. But oops, don't want to pan that. We've got some nice stuff going on here. So let's use the sinoid one. Sinoid always wins. Let's cut out some of these low mids and boost up here. And to the 1K situation. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, this might be the final thing. You know, you can always add more phasers or chorus. Now that they've kind of combined chorus, ensemble, and Ableton 11. That sounds pretty dope off the bat. Yeah. Feel free to experiment with any sort of thing that's going to add a weird stereo width. Like, say we add a reverb here. And instead of your traditional reverb, we can turn the decay time down so that it's almost like a stereo effect. Cool. Definitely want to experiment with all these different effects here. And kind of keep that going. Remember, you can also add more filtering. So say we come through here and we add, since we're not using this filter right now, we could choose A to use as some sort of tonal filter, like a comb or the combs or some of the flanges or something. Let's try that and see how that goes. Remember, you need resonance for any sort of tonal filter. That adds a cool tonality to it for sure. I really like these the Phaser 48 ones. I find myself normally using them for like neuro type of basses, but let's go back and do what I was gonna do traditionally or initially, which was using another bandpass filter. And what we do is just run this in parallel so that we can just turn the mix down and it doesn't take away any of the sound. It just adds more peaks and movingness. Let's stick with that. More moving. The thing about this movement here is that you're going to lose the sub, but like we said, we were planning on kind of getting rid of that anyways. Cool. One more trick here. I keep saying one more. There's just so much that you can do. Is that this is kind of a different one. Is to add vibrato. So what we'll do is we'll grab a new LFO, put this on master tune, click this on 1. So we're just getting a little bit of movement. See, it doesn't really make sense at that rate, but what we do is we put this on trigger triplets. Try like 8th triplets. No, that's a little aggressive. So what we do is just pull the dry wet of that down. Cool. What else have we got on here? Anything else? The last thing here is elastic pitch. So pitch bending is like a super effective tool on growls, but what you need to do is not do it within Serum, because you have all of these effects that are really defining the actual sound itself and making it cool. And if you pitch bend in Serum, you don't get the pitch bend running through all these effects. So if you do the pitch bend at the end here with a plugin like Synaptics, is it Synaptics? I think so. Elastic Pitch is an amazing plugin. So what we can do is just kind of click this around and automate some sort of it's a little aggressive. Cool. You can see how this could work in a track. I mean, what you could do is actually add another reverb. It's more of a room for reverb, depending on what the context of the sound is. But yeah, that's your growl. Feel free to let me know if you guys have any growl tips, any more processing tricks in the comments. You know, you could do this with any sort of VST. Maybe FM synthesis would definitely yield different results. Like I said, this is a very simplified version of this. We're not even using oscillator B. But you know, with that being said, know that you don't have to use both oscillators every time, and sometimes the more simple sounds will be better. Like than the more complex sounds. Sometimes you miss the mark on the way to hitting the mark. Okay. Cool. Well, drop a comment below. Thank you guys for watching my first tutorial back on YouTube. If you guys want to see a tutorial on anything specific, I was thinking about next time doing one on writing chords. Or maybe we can do something weird like how to make impacts. I don't know. We can do whatever you want. Just drop a comment. Thank you guys for watching my video, and happy hunting. Peace, puppy crew.